Hello everybody and welcome to Dropkick the Commute. Apparently everyone forgot how to drive today. Also my AC stopped working officially.
Again?
I know I've been saying that. Well, I know I've been saying that for weeks, but it officially, I have not had cool air for the last week.
Oh my god.
I'm MrGaleer. I'm joined here on my wonderful evening commute where we're driving and we're talking about wrestling like we always do. But today is a very special occasion. And why is that, Mr. Fussy?
Slammiversary! TNA.
Damn, you really went all out for that one.
Bro, I'm a TNA watcher now.
Did that put you on?
Why did you send me an audio message?
What?
Send me an audio message right now?
I sent it like 10 minutes ago.
I just got it. Wait, let's listen to it.
Cuckoo boy. Cuckoo gaga. Cuckoo boy.
I like it. I like
Because
it.
you weren't answering me.
Listen, it's not my fault.
Anyways, did this make you a full-fledged TNA watcher?
Yeah, dude, I'm in it for the long haul now. I like it. I like
That's
TNA.
what happened to me 4 years ago at Slammiversary 2020.
Oh, so we're like on the same path, just a little behind here.
Yeah, but Slammiversary back then was good. Slammiversary now is good. TNA has always been good, and I don't think people give it enough credit.
Yeah.
It's just because they fell off. That's why people don't want to like give it the time of day, but it's just as good as like, you know, your AEW or your WWE or your fucking it's like it's a competitor. It just doesn't have enough people or funding behind it to
Right.
feel as big as it used to.
But with Slammiversary this year, it was pretty big because this was TNA's biggest show in 10 years. They had their biggest gate. I think it was roughly 4,000 people, so that's pretty massive.
That's the biggest arena I've seen, or not arena, that's just the biggest venue that I've seen them fill in a long time.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, they stay, at least pre-COVID, they wouldn't hop around too much. They kind of had like a residency, kind of like with, you know, how like AEW is now in Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's cool to see them moving around and actually like selling tickets and putting butts in seats, god damn it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, I think people are saying, oh, it's, you know, the NXT TNA collab isn't helping them. I very much disagree now because, you know, what do you think? Do you think they would have gone for this venue and tried it if they didn't have this collab?
I think they still would have, and I think they could have, like, I think they could do it without NXT because, respectfully, I think it would be one thing if they were advertising Slammiversary on WWE programming, but they weren't. So as far as that's concerned, it's just like normal, where like maybe you're getting a few people like interested in TNA, and then that's how they find out about Slammiversary. But I think it would do them a lot better if they were able to advertise that pay-per-view on NXT.
Yeah, I am gonna say though, I think the reason they sold so much, honestly, is because of Joe Hendry. Like,
oh yeah,
Joe Hendry
100%.
hit the mainstream, and he started to go viral before the collab, before he even showed up on NXT. He started to go viral. Then he showed up on NXT, and it fucking skyrocketed. You know, like the viralness of it. So, I'm. If they didn't have Joe Hendry there, I don't see it happening. I think Joe Hendry is probably one of the biggest, you know, selling points.
Yeah.
Not discrediting everybody else. I
think everyone. Joe Hendry plays a huge part, but I also think you got to think about like Nick Nemeth and
Oh, for
like,
sure, yeah. Nick Nemeth, even Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, like, you know,
and Jeff, yeah,
like
like
Mustafa Ali, all the fucking big names. Yeah, like, they have a lot of big names right now, and they are building up to that, but I would say, like, Joe Hendry brought them into that threshold where they were like, oh yeah, we can do 4K no problem, you know?
yeah.
So
I definitely want to look into like what like their gates have been as of lately for pay-per-views, because
Yeah.
I'm curious now.
yeah.
But I know this, just by the looks of it, looked bigger than, you know, what they usually pull, which is great.
Yeah, and it definitely felt big too, overall, you
Yeah,
know?
TNA to the top, in my opinion. Again, I think people don't give it the time of day because of the fact that they fell off, and people are just like, oh, the same thing's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
If they try to like become popular. Like, I don't know how much you've looked into TNA's history over the last like 15 years, but it's fucking messy.
Yeah, I know
like,
a lot of things about, like, you know, when it started to fall off and all the shit that happened, and but, you know, it had a massive point. Like, it was a very top competitor for a few years there, obviously early on, you know, when they had Hogan, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, like all the fucking big names, Sting, even, like all those people. Obviously it was huge. It was a huge promotion, and yeah, it was a very messy history, but I feel like now they're actually, like, you know, really coming back.
Yeah, I think it's TNA to the top. That's my, you know, I think it's going to be a slow burn, but I think TNA can get back to a place. I don't think it's one of those things where you think about like AEW versus WWE. You know, AEW will always be number 2,
Right.
just like statistically. I think TNA will always be number 3, unfortunately. Right. But that's also not like that unfortunate, because the fact that they're on the map is like enough.
Yeah.
So, but this pay-per-view was great, and we had a lot of good matches. We had a lot of juice. We had a lot of pro wrestling.
Yes.
And it tickled me, and it cooked and it tickled.
So shall we hop into some of the matches here?
Yeah, I'll hop in, dude.
All right, let's hop.
Fucking do it.
So I'll kind of combine last Thursday and Slammiversary, because last Thursday I had a little bit of a build to it. So our first match, we opened with Matt Hardy and JDC. So what happened on Thursday was Matt and Jeff were in a tag match for the tag titles, and they were about to win. Jeff was going to do a swanton, and then JDC comes out and ends the match in a DQ. He hits Jeff off the turnbuckle, starts beating the shit out of him, and makes Matt watch. And then later on, Jeff got taken out on a stretcher, and then it cuts to Matt's wife also fucked up backstage, and she's like, "It was JDC! It was JDC!" And he's like, and Matt's like, "That son of a bitch." So, about that tag match real quick, I thought Matt and Jeff looked surprisingly good. Like, I feel like
They looked better than they did in AEW.
yeah, a lot of their AEW matches, I was like, all right, these guys are fucking old. I mean, it's fun to see them come out. But in TNA, like, that was a good match.
Yeah.
And
I think, too, it helps that they're in the ring with really good performers. It was Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers.
Right. Yeah. I don't know the names,
ahead.
but
The System.
the System, yes.
But
Yeah, they looked really good, and yeah, it definitely goes on to those guys too.
very happy to see them in the ring. I'm very sad it ended in a DQ.
Yeah.
And I think, too, that was the second match that night that ended in a DQ. I could be wrong. I was hoping we'd get what we got out of it was good, but I wish it didn't end in a DQ. And
Yeah.
you know, we got Johnny Dango versus Matt Hardy.
Yeah, so jumping over to the pay-per-view now. So Matt Hardy ends up beating JDC. Also, again, another good match. Matt Hardy, he talked about this when he was on Chris Van Vlie's podcast. He can still go pretty well, and it's because he changed his moveset and he's not doing like crazy fucking high flying stuff because he's old and he knows that he can't, you know.
I mean, you look at the way he moves. He's stiff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's stiff, but I thought JDC made Matt, you know, again look good, and obviously Matt, he did his part as well. Matt actually wins this match and then gets revenge on JDC by, it's a little silly, just does 3 twists of fates. Yep. Which I thought was a little goofy. I was like, you're not gonna like, he
just keeps...
he like destroyed your brother and wife. You're just gonna do a twist of fate to him a couple times? Like, I don't know, grab a chair or something, fucking beat the shit out of him. But
I don't know, something about it felt like very like, yeah, do it again. Yeah, go again, do one more. I liked it.
Yeah. Just a silly little pro wrestling thing.
Yeah, I feel like it ain't over yet, though. Because when Jeff Hardy comes back, too, he's going to want some of that.
Right.
Maybe even when Rebby's back, she's going to want some of that, too.
See the video of Jeff singing, I believe in Jeff Hardy?
No, I see videos of him singing. He
it's
looks
unhinged. He's like, I believe in Jeff Hardy. I believe in Joe Hendry
do you like see,
on TNA.
Do you see the different like videos of him singing that he posts?
Yeah, just like in the woods.
What the? Yeah, like, and they're like, what the fuck? And then there's some people that are like, come on, man, that's his music, and it's like, well, out of context,
it's wacky.
when he's like, he like starts like, I don't know, he's like, but he's like a cappella.
Yeah, he's a cappella in the middle of the woods with this dog.
We knew he was a strange man, but he is really fucking strange.
Yeah. Hey, man, if it's keeping him, you know, afloat,
yeah,
and he's not losing his shit, then do
life.
whatever.
Music is power, dude.
It's true.
I don't care.
Yeah, so, you know, that was a good match. We had ABC versus the System. Is that right? ABC?
Yeah.
So, ABC versus the System. ABC become the new tag champs. Fuck the System. Am I right, brother?
Dude, down with the System at this pay-per-view. Impact loves fucking tearing apart factions at pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Historically, they're very good at that. So, like, I kind of knew with the 6-man stipulation for the world title that Moose wasn't going to retain.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually how this shit happens for them. It's kind of like it's almost like clean slate in a way for TNA to do that. When ABC won this one, I was like, oh yeah, we're so back. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, as I mixed them up, Chris Bay and Ace Austin are 2 of my favorite Impact wrestlers. I actually got the privilege of filming a show for Chaotic Wrestling when Ace Austin was featured.
Oh, no shit.
On the card. That man has the most massive quads I've ever seen in my life. And it's crazy too, because he's like a pretty short guy. But no, he was killer. I'll have to send you the video I had.
Yeah, that'd be hype.
But yeah, these two are great. I remember when Chris Bay was a young flame on 205 Live back in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So to see them, you know, I would give them the credit of being part of Bullet Club Gold, but I feel like everybody is in Bullet Club.
Yeah, it's just like a
so I don't know
term.
how like I don't know like how much they're actually considered part of Bullet Club.
Was 205 Live, was that their cruiserweight show, WWE?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they might still have it. I don't know. They have Level Up now, and then
Level Up, and do they even still do main event?
Maybe, but I don't think they like.
They don't promote them at all. I don't know.
They don't promote. No, it's basically just their dark matches.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, big shouts out to ABC you know, the system again. Did Dango get involved in this one, or was he was gone because he just had that match?
I think he was gone. Yeah, I don't think he came out for this. Can't quite remember.
Very good match though.
Yeah, it was solid. It was solid. It's gonna take me again, like, it's gonna take me a little bit to learn everybody's names still. Like, I know a lot of the bigger names, obviously, but you know, I'm in it now. I'm gonna continuously watch TNA because
he's in it. It'll take you a couple weeks. And then you'll be like, I know everybody.
It'll be like NXT, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's very quick. I feel like people sometimes are like afraid to get into wrestling because there's so many names and there's so much, like, it's almost like inside information that looks like, oh, I'm never going to remember all that shit.
Yeah.
It is so damn easy.
Yeah, you learn
when
quick.
When you want to watch it.
Right, right. So yeah, I'm excited to see what we get from ABC here. That'll be hype. New tag champs. Hell yeah. We had the Rascals versus No Quarter Catch Crew. So a little TNA versus NXT action here.
Dog. Can we give some love to the NQCC?
Fire.
Can we give some love to Tavion Heights?
Yeah, and this is actually the
like,
second match because on Thursday it was No Quarter Catch Crew versus Kushida and the Rascals minus Wesley.
Yeah.
And you know, at Slammiversary, this was incredible. No Quarter Catch Crew, like, I feel like don't get enough credit. I feel like when they're featured on NXT, it's like, I don't know, they're kind of just in a promo for like a minute and then, you know, one of them has a match or, you know, we get two of them, but all three of them together in the ring, this was crazy.
Yeah, it was good. And like Tavion Heights is one of the newer additions, and that's why I wanted to shout him out because he is like, come to find out, he's like an Olympic, I don't know, something or other. He was in the Olympics.
Okay.
Which is very cool. Yeah, but they all got their time to shine. The Rascals, of course, reunited with Wes Lee.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful reunion where they actually got to and you knew they were saving Wes Lee for Slammiversary, which is awesome.
Yeah. And actually, I can't remember if it was on Thursday or if it was Slammiversary, but they had a little promo segment where they were in the circle and then they were like, you want to light one up? And he's like, no, I'm in NXT. I can't do that. They're like, not over here. You can do whatever you want over here. He's like, and then the bong rip hits.
Yeah, it was good. So it's very wholesome, very funny.
Yeah.
Good. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. I also like that they acknowledge like what their name used to be. Like Wesley used to be Desmond Xavier.
Yeah.
In TNA. And I remember on NXT they acknowledged that, or they acknowledged it on both shows. Just like, you know, in case he looks familiar to you, this is who he was.
Yeah.
The Wesley and Zachary Wentz signature move where one of them does a moonsault and then the other pushes him.
Yeah.
Like, over. I forget what they call it, but they use that move all the time, and I don't think that Zach Wentz ever used it with Trey Miguel. It was just like their move for Wesley. So it was, when I saw them do that, like I popped for that. It was very fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
Whole match was very fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Also, I want to shout out. I don't know if you noticed, but they're sharing graphics now.
Yeah.
So, which is so hype. I love it. So when a TNA person comes out on NXT, they have a TNA card. And on TNA, they come out with an NXT card, and it's fucking sick, dude. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's like we're acknowledging the other place.
Yeah. And it's
who
so
thought
hype. It's just so cool to see, man.
Vince would never allow this.
Never. He's sitting at home right now and he's like, that my son of a bitch son-in-law. That
He's like,
DX. He puts his fist up in the air and yells DX.
they're still fucking him over.
Oh my god.
Even when he's gone.
Yeah, dude, it's so great.
It is fantastic, and I can't wait to see more. I thought there was gonna be more NXT involvement in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not mad that there wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I think just because some people were saying, like, y'all ain't ready for this NXT TNA stuff. Obviously, they could have been referring to anything, not just Slammiversary.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, oh, okay, it didn't happen.
Well, and the other thing,
Whatever.
too, Jordan Grace said on Twitter that they were going to have more surprises, and everything that happened on Friday with the internet and, you know, all the travel issues and shit that happened on Friday fucked up some of the surprises for Slammiversary.
Oh, like the fucking Microsoft outage?
Yeah, the outage. Because the airports were fucked on Friday, so that caused a lot of issues.
I didn't even realize that, like, it affected so many places.
Yeah. Yeah, it was literally, like, was the biggest outage in history for anything. So
it reminds me of I know you didn't watch back during this time, but did you ever see in 2019 they had a Saudi show and then a bunch of them got stuck in Saudi?
No.
Yeah, like the something similar happened where they couldn't fly back in time for SmackDown because it was on a Thursday, the Saudi show. And so it was right around Survivor Series season, kind of building the Survivor Series. And since almost all of their SmackDown superstars were, like, unavailable, they had Triple H bring in NXT, and they did, like, an NXT invasion on an episode of SmackDown.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was really fucking cool. They had, like, it was like Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole for the NXT championship.
Huh.
And then, like, the episode, like, ended with Triple H and all the NXT guys in the ring, and they were just like, Survivor Series, it's Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, which also is the only Survivor Series to ever do that, and it was the best Survivor Series, in my opinion, War Games. We should review that at some point. It's a phenomenal pay-per-view. All the matches were like 3 ways.
That's cool.
More or less. That whole weekend was good because that was when NXT did War Games, and so they had Adam Cole and Undisputed Era, who were all the champions in NXT. They did the War Games match, and then the very next day, all of them fought in matches.
That's crazy.
I know, and it was like the most intense War Games match I've ever seen too.
Holy shit! I'll have to watch that because I've never seen that match.
But yeah, I'm at my stop now, so I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Next up in Slammiversary, we had probably both of our favorite match of the night. Montreal
both of you
street fight. Both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, the both of them. It was absolute fire. AJ Francis
Oh,
versus PCO.
That man is like mid-50s and should not be wrestling. I don't know how he didn't like break his back.
Dude, some of those bumps he was taking.
He was taking some like Mick Foley ass bumps.
Yeah.
For real. He was getting like, dude, I don't even fucking remember. He was getting thrown around. So both of them were getting thrown around so much.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the guy was that was with AJ Francis. Is he like a boxer or something?
I think so. I can't remember.
It was like Josh something or other.
Yeah.
But he powerbombed PCO onto 2 chairs stacked against each other.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Like,
there was, and then there was just a whole stack of chairs in the ring at one point. And then, you know, AJ Francis went through those tables outside the ring. There was fucking crazy, dude. There was so much in this.
Oh, there was 1.2 where he like goes over the rope or something, and he came down and like clipped the table and broke it.
Yeah, that was funny.
I know the internet's gonna try to get him for that one because of the whole flop dollar shit.
Flop dollar.
But, like, miss me with that. This was a great match.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that fucking AJ Francis had like the Montreal like world title or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't even like. I was like trying to look up this championship, and I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
So I assume that's where PCO wrestles because he's from Montreal, or he's from Canada. I don't know where specifically, but yeah, this was great.
I love the beginning, how they set it up. So AJ Francis came out and he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna be defending my championships tonight because look what happened. And it cuts to the screen and it's just him beating the shit out of PCO before their match. And then he's like, so you know what? This match is done. I'm gonna head out. And then the lights go out and, you know, they do the whole Frankenstein bit with PCO.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm still here, bitch. And he comes out.
I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. You can't kill the French-Canadian Frankenstein.
It's true. You cannot. But yeah, PCO went over here. He's the new digital media champion. And what's her name?
Oh, Steph DeLander?
Steph
oh my god, I forgot
DeLander.
about this.
Yeah,
Dude,
Steph DeLander comes
came
out.
They
She
thought-
came back
They
and
thought she was home.
Yeah.
They thought she was in Australia. She came out. She fucking proposes to PCO. Everyone, the crowd's going, wee. And he goes, wee.
Incredible.
I literally jumped in my seat. I stood up and started clapping.
Yeah.
Anna's like, what are you watching? I said, I'm watching wrestling, brother. This is where it's at.
Oh my god. We're gonna get a wedding on TNA, brother.
Thank fuck, dude. I'm pretty sure the last time there was a wedding on TNA, someone got, like, shot and killed. Like, actually, in canon, they killed someone in TNA.
Oh my god.
TNA has killed people so many times.
Like, actually
They killed,
in canon?
Yeah, like, Ethan Page got written off of TNA by, I don't want to say killing himself, but, like, he had two alter egos that, like, killed each other, and that's how they wrote him off TV. I'll find it. It's weird. But there was that. They killed this guy. His name was Johnny Bravo. Who else? They killed somebody else. Oh, they killed Eric Young, and then Eric Young came back. So yeah, they are no stranger to canonically killing off wrestlers, which honestly I'm here for. I say we need to do it more.
Yeah. Add more death to wrestling.
Sorry, got a little off path there. We're having a wedding.
We are. We're gonna have a wedding, and yeah, this match cooked, and it had a very fun ending. And PCO, digital media champion, baby.
It's true.
Hell yeah.
We're so back.
We are so back. After that, we had Jordan Grace defending the Knockouts Women Championship and against Ash by Elegance.
I thought Ash was gonna go over, honestly.
I thought so too, but regardless,
felt like she was getting kind of a push.
Yeah, regardless, absolutely cooked. Very, very, very solid match, and we got an appearance from Rosemary. Do you know the lore on this?
Rosemary is one of their freaky little like supernatural characters. Rosemary, from my understanding of what I've seen, is like multiple people.
Okay.
Or like she's got some kind of like multiple, don't quote me on this, but like we'll always refer to Rosemary, she'll always refer to herself as we, us. So there's like more than one being, it seems. That's like what they're going for.
Okay.
Rosemary's a great wrestler, former women's Knockouts tag team champion. I think former Knockouts champion. But I know Rosemary has been messing on Impact too. She was like messing with the personal concierge backstage, and like he was on the phone and she just kept like creeping up behind him and around him and stuff. So maybe they're doing something with them coming up with Ash by Elegance, perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah,
she came out
Jordan
and was
Grace
like the
went over.
distraction, and yeah, Jordan Grace went over, retains, and we're gonna see her for a long time as champion, I think.
Yeah, hell yeah.
After this, we had probably my second favorite match, very close to first favorite. Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Mustafa Ali, dude.
Oh, I think pre-watching this match, Digital Media was my favorite, but this topped it.
Yeah. We had
loved it so much.
Jumping back to the Thursday before, Mustafa Ali put Speedball into a Secret Service gauntlet, so he had to go through that. So there was 4 Secret Service members standing at the end of the ramp, and he's like, okay, you got to get through my Secret Service. And he's like, okay. So he takes out the first 2 in like 2 seconds. Third one, he takes a couple minutes because they had a commercial in between. And then the fourth one, again, takes out very quickly. And he's like, whoa, 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 we're not done yet. And a guy in Riot Squad gear comes out. And, he's like, okay, my turn. And then it's Mustafa Ali. It's him.
Beat the hell out of him too with the baton or the whatever the fuck he had, the shield. I don't even know.
Yeah, beat the hell out of him. And anyway, they had the match at Slammiversary still. And this was incredible. Absolutely cooked. The ref actually counted to 3 at one point, and then he was like, wait, no, because Ali had his feet on the ropes, so he was like, wrong. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. So
they even started playing Speedball's music when they thought he won.
Right, and the ref was like, no, and Ali's like, what the fuck? And it keeps going, and then it leads up to Speedball accidentally super kicking the ref, so the ref gets knocked out, and Ali's like, we need a ref out here, and fucking Earl Hebner comes out. Galeer, tell the people who Earl Hebner is, if they don't for some reason know.
If you don't know who Earl Hebner is, you don't know wrestling, brother. He is a staple referee in wrestling history, mainly WWE. Maybe he appeared once for AEW. I don't know for sure, but he very early to mid 2000s, and then 80s, 90s, he was the ref. He had a twin actually, but he was the one that everybody knew. Brian Hebner refs for TNA, I think, maybe still. That's his son. But Earl Hebner was at the center of one of the greatest controversies in wrestling history, what we know as the Montreal screw job between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Yup.
And Ali had planned for this, clearly. He brought out Earl Hebner. People immediately know what's up. They're like, fuck no. Even the announcers were like, oh my god, they're gonna recreate the Montreal Screwjob again in Speedball's hometown of Montreal. Like, are you fucking kidding me? He comes in, Ali fucking... God, I don't even... do you remember,
Yeah. So Ali...
You probably have a better memory.
Ali, beats the shit out of Mike Bailey a little bit, puts him in a sharpshooter, and he's like, come on!
Right, it was the sharpshooter, yes.
He goes, come on, and Earl Hebner's like, fuck! And, he literally says on camera, he goes, fuck! And he's looking at him, and Ali's like, what are you doing? Come on, we had a deal! And Earl's like, no! Fuck no! And he's freaking out. He's like, no, I can't do it again. and Ali lets go of the sharpshooters, like yelling at Earl, and then Bailey uses this to, take down Ali, puts him in a sharpshooter. Crowd goes crazy. Ali taps. Earl calls the match. Earl Hebner redeemed himself. He made
This
up
match-
for the Montreal
This match was
Screwjob.
not about Speedball. This match was not about Ali. This match was not about the X Division Championship. No, for the first time in 20 plus years, this match was about Earl Hebner.
Damn straight. He redeemed himself. And
Nah, for real though, this was a
dude, the crowd
incredible
lost
match.
their minds. This was so good.
It was a great way. Honestly, I could have like seen this being main event over the actual main event.
Yeah.
To be real with you, it just had more story and more like, there was more to it.
Yeah.
But I had no doubt these two could put on the match that they did. I think if it had ended at that first fall with Bailey winning, it would have been okay. But I'm also glad it didn't because we got like so much more out of it that we weren't expecting.
Yeah, and
So yeah.
I think I think this definitely could have been the main event, but it was so good. And yeah, the crowd went crazy. Fucking the commentators went crazy. Like it absolutely cooked. And Ali is no longer the X Division champion.
Thank God, Bailey deserves it.
Yeah.
I will not be taking any further questions.
Moving on to our main event, unless you're at your stop.
Hang on, wait. Yeah.
Okay, main event time, Galeer.
Uh,
You ready for the main event?
yeah.
6-way eliminator match. The build to this on Thursday was very fun.
Hey, don't call it an eliminator.
What is it?
Elimination.
Elimination.
You know how I feel about eliminators.
Shun. Shun. 6-way elimination match. The build to this on Thursday was fun. We had a contract signing, and Santino came out and he's like, okay, nothing's gonna happen here. Everybody's gonna sign the contract. We're gonna move on. We're all adults, right? And McNemeth didn't show up because he's like, listen, guys, I tore something. I can't be there tonight, but I am medically cleared for Saturday. And everyone's like, whoa. So they're passing it around between the 5 of them. And Joe Hendry goes to sign it. And Moose is like, no. And he takes it and he's like, I sign it before you. And I'm like, hold on. You just let 4 other people sign it. What? What's the problem?
Yeah.
So that was a little goofy, a little silly. Moose is like, I sign it first, bitch. And he's like, okay.
He knows Joe Hendry's a threat.
Yeah, so he hands it, he signs it, gets all mad, hands it to Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry's like, you know what? And he stands up, and he does a little promo. Crowd gets behind him and all that. And brawl breaks out, of course, and Santino's like, man, what the fuck? And then he puts Moose through a table, bro. And I was like, whoa!
They did a great job of making you think that Joe Hendry was going to win this match.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that is not what happened. However, Joe Hendry did eliminate Moose, so we were guaranteed a new champ, which went crazy.
Yep.
It was very good. What was your
Which
favorite part?
I feel like makes sense given everything that happened,
Yeah, I would say so.
So, Joe Hendry fucking gave the standing ovation, that choke slam, Uranagi, whatever you want to call it. Lifted Moose in the air, lifted that big boy up, and put him down and pinned him clean.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very, very
And then,
clean elimination.
almost immediately after, Josh Alexander low blows Joe Hendry, puts him in that pile driver of his, and eliminates Joe
It
Hendry.
was such a tragedy. I sat there, I was like,
Now everyone's like, why Josh Alexander? Why? You're the heart and soul of TNA.
Yeah.
He's like he was like TNA. Okay, this might be a stretch, but he was low key to me. He was kind of like TNA's like version of Super Cena.
Yeah.
Where he was just like the guy that people got behind. He was the world champion for like a year, longest reigning TNA world champion, and he never lost it. He got injured and had to relinquish it.
Yeah.
And it was this very sad like babyface sob story. And then he comes back. He's I wouldn't totally write him off. I was like, he could win this match. And then he turned heel, and I was like, I don't know if he's gonna win this match.
So seemingly we're gonna get a feud between those two now.
Yeah, or Moose and Joe Hendry, who knows?
Yeah.
Or all three of them.
Or all three of them, honestly. Yeah, they really made it seem like Joe Hendry was going to win this match, and that is not what happened. Nick Nemeth is your new TNA champion. How do you feel?
I was very shocked.
At the outcome?
At Nick Nemeth, yes. But not... This is not bad, per se.
It was just unexpected.
It was very unexpected. The way they built him towards this match felt like... I don't think he was injured. Maybe he was, but I don't think he was actually injured, and I think it was an angle maybe they introduced to make this win feel a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't, I don't know the details of it by any means, but what I do know is that I did not expect this, but it is not a bad thing because Nick Nemeth is one of the hardest workers in wrestling.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
Like, he had his ball with the world title back in like 2011, 2012, whenever it was. But I truly don't think that was his time to shine. Once we saw his entire run in WWE and saw what he did with that, and that man could have quit so many times. He was getting the short end of the stick. He was jobbing out to everybody.
Yeah.
Like this dude is a worker. He fucking paid his dues.
Yeah, it's definitely well deserved. It was just like, whoa, wasn't expecting it.
It's a matter, yeah. And again, I wish he had been built up more because I would have more realistically seen like Moose retaining, or Joe Hendry because he's so over, or Josh Alexander because he never won the championship.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, Nick Nemeth showed up right at the rebrand, so they've kind of called him like the face of the rebrand in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't hate this. I'm excited to see what he does for it, and it's like a world championship run where now he's been doing this shit for 20 years and he's paid his dues and he's earned this, and someone's finally recognized him enough to give him this.
Can I fantasy book? I'm gonna fantasy book.
You can fantasy book.
I'm gonna say, here's what I'm gonna say. I think
You're gonna say something.
Nick Nemeth is gonna recognize, he's gonna be like, Joe Hendry, you got screwed over. At some point. I'm not saying soon. I'm not saying right now. It would be way too soon if they want something good with Nick Nemeth. Right away. He's gonna be like, Joe Hendry, you got screwed over. So you know what? I'm gonna give you a match. And then Joe Hendry goes over Nick Nemeth. That would be a huge win for him. Right?
Yeah.
Massive. It's Nick Nemeth. So then Joe Hendry, TNA champion, fucking goes to NXT and does his rounds. That's my fantasy booking.
Well, at that point, do you think this NXT thing is gonna like last a while?
I think it's gonna go on for a while at this point. It's been so successful. And they're getting like, that's the thing. At the beginning of the collab, it was like, oh, cool, TNA person on NXT, or cool, NXT person. But now we're getting like stories out of it, like with the Rascals and with, a lot of the women's division coming over. Gallus, yeah. Like, we're getting stories out of it. So I'm thinking it's going to continue for a while. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I feel like it makes the most sense to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then here's another question I'll pose, or not even a question. I got a take. It might even be considered one that's hot.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is not to say I don't want to see this happen, but I don't think that Joe Hendry needs the world title.
He doesn't. I don't think that's a hot take at all. He's so over. He's over in 2 companies and he's viral. Like,
yeah. WWE's going to pick him up the second his contract in TNA is up. I know that
I'm sure, and I'm sure he would jump over there. It would be so huge for him. You know, like, I think Joe Hendry is at a point he doesn't need the title. He needs good stories, and he needs to keep being viral because it's working immensely for him. It's working for TNA, and it's working for WWE. Again, I mean, like, hammering it down, he is the most viewed WWE clip. Like,
that's true.
Both companies are getting so much from Joe Hendry right now. NXT crowd goes insane when he shows up. TNA crowd goes insane when his music hits. Like, he doesn't need the championship, but it would be, like, it would have been massive for him if they did it at Slammiversary. But I'm also wondering if that is the reason why TNA booked Nick Nemeth. They're like, well, he doesn't need the title right now, so let's give it to Nick Nemeth.
I think, too, it's like they don't want to give people what they're expecting.
Yeah.
Which I like that. I like when it's not predictable.
Yeah.
If it's predictable and it makes sense, it's good. But when it's unpredictable and it makes sense, it's even better.
Would you... If Joe Hendry did win...
I would not be upset.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Like I said before this, like... I said last week, I was like, oh, they'd be stupid not to put the belt on him because he's over in 2 companies. But then, like, I really thought about it, and I was like, well, he's over in 2 companies. The belt...
Without the belt. Yeah.
Without the belt, it won't necessarily do a whole lot for him, but it won't do nothing for him. Again, Nick Nemeth winning was just kind of like, I didn't feel like he was going to win going into this because... You know, he wasn't at the contract signing. He was injured, but I'm going to be there. I think it was like an attempt to make his being in the match feel more special. I guess it just didn't land for me personally.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I don't think it was a bad move, and it's definitely something I'm very happy to see.
Right. Yeah, I am too, so. Do you have anything else to say about Slammiversary?
You forgot about Mike Santana versus Jake something. Just saying.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you like to talk about it?
Mike Santana won. No, I didn't watch it. Mike Santana won. I saw the end of it.
Yeah. Again, like, it was a good pay-per-view, man. There was a lot of good matches. Biggest TNA show in 10 years. I loved when you
texted me. You were like, why is it on TNA Plus? I had to break
I was so mad.
Sad news to
I
you.
was so angry.
Yeah.
TNA, I have a gripe with you. John TNA, if you're listening to this, put your fucking pay-per-views on your subscription. I know it gives you more money, but what the fuck? Include it.
I think until they have more money coming in, they're just going to keep doing the pay-per-views.
I'm so mad.
Because that's how it's always been, is like TNA Plus, they'll do the, like, TNA Plus exclusives or whatever they call it.
Yeah, and they do the TNA, they do the Impact simulcast, which is cool, like, great, awesome, but also, give me the fucking pay-per-views.
Was Against All Odds was on the app,
Yes!
Yeah.
So it's like, was Against All Odds not a pay-per-view? It was just like a special show? But it was
Kinda.
A pay-per-view.
It's basically a pay-per-view. Also, I want to point out another great thing. This show, how many matches was the show? Like 7, 8 matches?
Yeah.
And they only went 3.5 hours.
Yeah. It was so good. It was so tight. It was perfect.
Let's, I think if it just goes to show you can put a bunch of matches on a card and still keep it like
not 8 hours.
Yeah, and like again, I'm not complaining. I love when we get wrestling, but some nights, man, it's just I'm tired. I don't know. I figured this might be a little fun, but looking back, a year ago at Slammiversary, Joe Hendry lost the Digital Media Championship.
Oh,
a year ago. That's so sad. They had an Ultimate X. Oh yeah, they didn't do an Ultimate X this year. That sucks.
Yeah, no, they just had the X Division match.
Team Canada, Scott D'Amore and Eric Young. Scott D'Amore wrestled versus Bully Ray and Diener.
Oh, that's a fun one.
And the ref for the match was Darren McCarty, who played for the Detroit Red Wings of the NHL.
Okay. Interesting.
Leo Rush versus Chris Sabin, X Division Championship. Trinity, aka Naomi, defeated Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts Championship. And then, ready? This might pop you a little bit, or it might make you go, ooh. Alex Shelley, the Impact World Champion, defeats Nick Aldis.
Huh?
And then soon after that, he ended up becoming the GM for SmackDown.
Wow, wrestling's crazy.
Wrestling is wild. When I saw Nick Aldis doing GM stuff, I was like, oh, so he's done wrestling? Anyways.
All right.
This was Slammiversary, the reaction.
The reaction.
5 days later. The reaction.
Yeah, this was crazy. It was great. I'm a TNA guy.
What's your star rating?
I'm gonna rate this 3.89 Meltzers out of 5.
I'm gonna give it 4.1.
All right, that's a fair rating. You know what else is a fair rating?
The rating that you're going to be giving this podcast. Give us 5 stars on Spotify, everybody. Like and subscribe. Give us money. Tell us what your favorite match, if you watched Slammiversary, was. Fucking all that good stuff, man. And go follow Novi. He was just a guest on the podcast. Go watch the episode. We talked about AEW. We talked about SmackDown. We talked about Novi.
Yeah, it was fire. It was a very good episode. And we have even more coming up at the end of this week. We're going to be covering Raw, NXT, and Blood and Guts, which is tonight.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're going to see some blood.
I'm going to win.
We're going to see some guts. You're going to be there in Nashville?
Yeah, man, I'm going to win.
Stop at my house on the way back or whatever.
Or whatever.
All right, gamers. Thank you for joining us. And, yeah, that's about that.
All right. Beep, beep,
beep, beep.
Dropkick the Commute, shining bright in the night. Join the conversation, report